today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a hot, sunny day in Texas. So,
As in Florida?
getting used to that. So, let me introduce you. This is Rebecca Anderson, and you are the owner of Wonderland Escapes
Mhm.
Travel. And you are one of our crown jewels. Yay. And I looked up your start date, and next month is your 6-year anniversary with
Yes,
Travel
it
Quest.
is.
That's
Yep.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. We need to celebrate that.
For
That's
sure.
great. That's great because you've done very well in a very short time. So this is great. So I looked at your website and I noticed that you're very accomplished. You've done a lot of hard work to get where you are right now.
Thank you.
You are a certified travel leader specialist in destination
Mhm.
weddings and honeymoons. You are a destination specialist in Hawaii and you've lived there. So
Mhm.
oh, that's awesome. You are a specialist in Mexico, in Costa Rica, Aruba. You are an authorized vacation planner for Disney, and you do something that's a little different. You also offer mystery trips. So if we have
Yeah.
time, I'm going to ask about that. So tell me, I like to start these out with how did you get started in the travel business?
Well, if we go way back, I used to work for Northwest Airlines before
Oh,
Delta purchased them.
mm-hmm.
That was many, many moons ago. So I worked for an airline. And then after Delta took over, there was a bunch of repositioning, and I ended up getting out and getting a different type of job.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just love travel, and I was in a position to where I was tired of the rat race, in the working in offices and whatnot, and I was in a really toxic work environment, and I was trying to figure out a way out. And my grandmother actually told me, "You're really good at travel. Why don't you do something into travel?"
Mm-hmm.
And so I started researching and host agency reviews, and I had a phone call with Travel Quest, and I hemmed and hawed for a while, and then a friend of mine that's a business coach, she told me to rip off the band-aid and do it or I'll never do it.
I love that.
And so I said okay, and I signed up with Travel Quest and started learning everything I could learn. I mean, I knew a lot already because I already knew how the airlines work, and I already have pretty much every airport code memorized too because of that job.
Me
so,
too.
I dove in head first, and and here I am. Still, I made it past COVID, and I'm still kicking.
That's great because COVID, that couple of years during COVID
Yeah, it
it
was
was
rough.
difficult. There's
Yeah,
just no getting around that. It was difficult. And here you are, a crown jewel. So, yay. Good for you.
thank you.
So, when you did get started, were you at that time living in Hawaii?
No, I was living in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, okay.
I was about a year in from when I moved from Portland,
Okay.
and I had had multiple like problems with finding a job there, and two toxic jobs.
Mhm.
So I thought, you know what, I'm going to work for myself and do what I love, and my grandma, like I said, really encouraged me with that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great. That's great. So, how many years did you live in Hawaii?
Oh gosh. Most of my adult life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My grandparents used to live there when
Mhm.
when my grandfather was stationed in the Navy,
Mhm.
and my uncle and my father were there.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of sort
Yeah.
of part of the family. So I just say I'm from there because that feels like home to me.
Yes. Yes.
So
Oh, I
I
love
wasn't
Hawaii.
born and raised, but I lived
Mhm.
there most of my adult life. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So, I was looking at your website, and when it first came up, I mean, you are immediately drawn in. That is a great picture on
Oh,
the
thank you.
homepage of your website. It looks like a live shot of a beach, beautiful, beautiful water, and that that's just perfect in my opinion. Um, And I like how you've got everything kind of, in categories of what you sell.
Hmm.
And you have a great travel blog section. And I kind of got lost in reading some of that. And I had, I had to make myself get out. You've got work to do here. So I can see your customers really enjoying those blogs, and it looks very current. That's great that
Yeah,
you're.
I do two a month. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
good. That's great.
yeah.
Okay. Um, and there was something else that you do that I find very interesting, and I love because the agency that I managed all those years, we did this also. You had a plan to go deposit.
Yes.
Explain to our members how that works.
So when I very first started, I noticed people would take advantage of me and have me do all the work and research, and then they'd ghost me and probably book online. Friends actually were the most notorious for that
Oh,
at
yes.
their
Oh,
personal
yeah.
Google. So I thought I got to implement something because I wasn't as confident about charging a fee at the time because I was new.
Mhm,
And so I did a plan to go deposit. And so I just do $100.
mhm,
I have a business PayPal set up for that, and that's only what it's used for.
mhm,
And if they book, then I just apply it directly to their booking. Or if we book it early enough, then I'll just refund it because PayPal will let you refund it up to so
mhm,
many days.
mhm.
So I just do that. And once they book, then, and if they don't book, I get to keep it.
This is brilliant. That is brilliant. I love it, and
Yeah.
it worked for my agency also.
Yeah.
It really weeds out those, we called them looky-loos,
Yeah. You'd
or
be surprised how many people will bail on you even though they know it's refundable. It doesn't make any sense.
but you know what? You don't feel so bad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So then it helped me gain my confidence too, that
yes.
to know who to say no to and who are my clients. And it kind of helped me build that. And then I got to where I wanted to start charging fees, but now I
Mhm.
live in Florida. So there's some red tape involved with that.
Oh, I
And
see.
then trying to figure out how to
Yeah.
work through that. So
Well, we won't go there. I don't like
yeah.
it.
So yeah, that's on my to-do list.
Uh, I liked the section on your website where you discuss about the question is, what if I find something cheaper or better pricing? And you had an expression. There are a lot of shiny red objects out there. I love that. What kind of responses do you get when people, do they ever say anything about that section?
Some people will do a lot of work on their own
Mhm,
and come to me, well, I found it for this price or whatever. Can you get that price? And
mhm,
then I tell them to send me exactly what it is. And then I'll point out to them that the reason it's cheaper is because it's
mhm.
one, either a basic economy flight, which you
Right,
can't pick your seat and it's
right.
not refundable or you don't get a credit. I
Mhm,
can't change it. Or it's the very like
mhm.
it's the basic hotel room with a view of the garbage can or the parking lot, those types of things that I point out that I look out for you and I'm not going to book you the very bottom of the barrel that they're offering. And that's usually what a lot of those are. And then they're like, oh, well, she knows what she's doing. So
Yes, yeah, so that gives them more confidence than,
yeah.
there might be something cheaper, but I've got it better.
Hmm.
I've
Yeah.
got a better rate.
Or a better schedule on the airline because some of
Right,
those are awful flights too.
and I don't know if it's still this way, but in the past years, especially in Hawaii, the pricing was all about the view from the
Hmm.
window, and, we used to get people questioning our prices, and they'd say, "Well, I have an ocean view, and you quoted ocean view, but mine's much better." And then when you question, it's they have like we call it, it's a POV, a
Hmm.
partial ocean view. And I would say, well, let me explain that to you. If you hang outside, upside down by your toes from the balcony and swing way left, you might see the ocean.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get with them. And
Yep.
that's the truth. Some of those a little deceptive. So
Yeah.
is Hawaii still that way that everything's kind of priced on whether you can.
Yeah, and I have to explain to people that it's the view from your lanai and not from your bed and or the room.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they think they can lay in bed and look at the ocean. If it's an ocean front, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Right.
yeah,
Right.
So, and a lot of people think ocean view is ocean front, and there's a difference with that too.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
That's a big difference, really.
Hmm.
I think on some of those hotels, can't you just, if you have oceanfront, just walk out and you're on the beach?
Not in Hawaii.
Mhm.
There has to be a little bit of distance because all the beaches are public in Hawaii,
Oh,
and
that's true.
so they can't. No hotel or anything can own any of the beach. So yeah,
That's good to know.
yeah,
So
which
if
means you can't do weddings at a hotel on the beach there either. You have to have a wedding coordinator that's separate from that to be able to do a beach wedding too.
oh,
So it's a little
yeah,
more complicated.
yes, it is, and that's why someone should come to you if they're gonna do a destination wedding,
Yeah,
'cause
for
you
sure.
know these things. So, have you how many, well, I'm not gonna ask you how many because it's probably hard to remember, but have you done, many destination weddings in Hawaii?
Yeah, I get quite a few of those, and I have friends that work in some of those companies that
Mhm,
do
mhm.
destination weddings, so I have connections with that too, and photographers and stuff too.
Oh, wow.
Although a lot of my friends moved away after COVID,
Yeah.
um, but I do have some connections with companies that I know personally there too. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And since the beaches are public, even if they're staying at a particular hotel, but they wanna get married somewhere else, you could probably
Mhm.
arrange that.
Yeah, yeah. There's a coordinator that has to do that.
Mhm.
The hotels will do them, but it has to be on their property.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. I mean, they can do pictures for you on the beach, but the actual ceremony has to be on their property, which is usually a grassy area that overlooks the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah, it's still
Mhm,
pretty. A lot of them have great facilities for that. Yeah.
mhm. I know in Maui, some of those hotels are, like, I remember the Sheraton Waikiki is up on a cliff.
Mhm.
Could you get married up there? Oh, that
Yep.
up where the divers dive at sunset
Yeah,
every
that's
day, yes.
and you could, and Royal Lahaina has a beautiful grassy area for weddings right next to the beach, and then
Mhm.
even the Grand Wailea has a chapel too, a beautiful
Oh,
chapel there. So yeah.
that's great. That's great. So, oh, I also wanted to mention that you have a section in your website where someone could just ask you a question. Do you get many responses from that? I saw
Um,
that button that says "Ask a question."
no, not really.
Really? There
I
might
mean,
be
I
a
get
way.
people that fill out the contact form, so
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Would that be, and if after they book with you, would they go there to ask you something, or they're just communicating directly with
They
you?
usually just communicate directly with me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So what, I see that you're also a Disney authorized planner. So do you, sell many of the Disney trips? Is that something that the business that you kind of go after?
It's a hit or miss for me. I don't push Disney
Mhm,
too much, but I understand it and know it because I've been to both Disneyland and Disney World.
mhm.
And I also know Aulani. I actually remember it being built when I lived in Hawaii. And then
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember we like snuck into their pool one time to go up it opened.
If this was anything illegal, let's not discuss.
But yeah, I do Disney trips. A lot of times it's for families that have already booked with me before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't push it too hard, but I did all the training
Mhm.
and stuff. So
Yes, and, I think you're finding out that, even though you love Hawaii and there are certain things you love to sell, at some point, your customers are gonna want you to plan something that maybe is kind of outside your wheelhouse, but
mhm.
so, we were talking earlier, so now you're starting to get involved maybe and start to learn more about cruises.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, and you're there in Florida. Is there any particular cruise line that you want to sell more of?
Well, I live near Tampa, so anything that ports out of Tampa would be great because
Mhm,
now
mhm,
that I live here, I'm getting people in my area that
mhm.
want to do a cruise out of Tampa. So I'm going to start there and
Good
see
idea. Good idea.
what is there. But I do have a lot of interest for Virgin voyages
Oh, okay. Well,
because
that's
to
great.
me that sounds fun. I've never done a cruise before myself, so
Oh boy,
I want to do one. So
we've got to get you on a
I
cruise.
know.
I'm going to make a note of that. Yes, yes, yes. And there are opportunities, especially when you are up in the level you are, one of our crown jewels. So hopefully that can work out for you soon.
Yeah, there was the one to Alaska, but the dates just didn't quite work
Oh,
for me to do that one.
oh yeah, the Holland America one.
Yeah, because
Yes.
Alaska is a place I also want to learn about. Because actually, you and I had a session, a coaching session, and you mentioned that Alaska is a great jumping point from Hawaii travelers. So
It is. I don't really understand why, but a lot of people, they would book Hawaii with me one year, and the next year they're wanting to do Alaska. And then the next year they start talking Europe.
yeah,
Just kind of, there's a progression there.
hmm
And it used to be that Alaska pricing was more than Europe. It could be, if, especially if they did a cruise tour. So,
yeah,
yeah, so that's, the commissions are great on those Alaska. So that's a good thing to focus on. Um, now, I seem to remember not too long ago you did a kind of a FAM for people to Hawaii, didn't you? Didn't you?
yeah.
Tell me about that. How did that go?
That was in May. So I run a Facebook group on
Mhm.
Facebook that I teach travel agents all the things about Hawaii, the culture, the language, the music, the
Uh-huh.
resorts, the beaches,
Mhm.
like everything. So
Mhm.
I was going to be going to Hawaii anyway, and the
Mhm.
pricing just worked out great for me to do it for 2 weeks.
Oh
And I
wow.
was meeting my mom and my auntie there, so I thought I'll just take another week ahead of time and go to a resorts because the flights were just incredibly cheap from Tampa, which surprised me.
Wow.
So I went ahead and did that, and I thought, well, maybe I can make a fam out of this trip with the group and see who wants to come with me into a
Mhm.
resorts.
Mhm.
So I put it out there, and we had quite a few responses. However, my dates kind of conflicted with Edge, so there was a lot of people that wanted to go, but they
Oh.
were doing Edge. So
Mhm.
so I ended up with at the final, having to do payments and
Mhm.
everything. 2 people came with me, so I mean, it worked out.
That's two lucky people that know a lot more than they do
Yeah,
about Hawaii. What a great opportunity.
and I
So,
told them that I was going to run them a little ragged because there was a huge list that I wanted to view. Because when
yes.
I lived there, I didn't pay attention to resorts, and I wish I
Mhm.
had. So we toured quite a few, and we did Maui and Oahu.
Oh, okay.
And I took them on my own personal tour of the road to Hana, so they learned
Oh,
all of that and where all the things are.
yeah.
So, and I took them on the all the way around too, and just told them don't tell your clients to do this.
Because, do the rental car companies allow you to
No, they
run
don't.
it in
But
the
but the rental car company that I use there is a mom and pop place, and they let you use your car for them.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. So
Yeah,
there is a way to do that because,
there
when
is.
I
Yeah,
rented the car, I got to a certain point on that road, and you
yeah.
weren't supposed to go any further, so
Yeah, and Shaka Guide gave us a free tour to try it out. So we tried it out for that, and I wanted to compare notes to see if they knew more than I did. They had a couple stops that I wasn't super familiar with, so that was cool.
Oh,
And it
oh,
has a lot of historical and different cultural things that they talked about. But it does end at the Seven Sacred Pools where you're supposed to turn around and go back. So,
yes,
but I
yeah.
kept going. So
Oh boy, already. So you've been confessing to several things this morning. I don't know
but
about
I've done it a million times, so I already know there's some cool stuff to see. But there
yeah.
was recently a mudslide there, so it's blocked off
Oh,
now. At a certain point, you can't do it anyway.
oh, that's too bad. That is such a beautiful area. So
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
And then Oahu, we just did site inspections, and then I took them to Pearl Harbor.
Oh, okay. I think, in my opinion, Pearl Harbor is a must.
Yeah,
It's a very, it, I've been many times because I used to take groups when I worked for a Hawaii wholesaler, and every time I went, it was emotional. It's
yeah.
yeah.
The
So,
cool thing about that trip too was that we had an extra ticket because one of the travel agents had to drop out kind of last minute.
mhm,
So I was standing in line with this extra ticket, and there was a man standing in the standby line, and
mhm,
he looked like he was by himself. And
mhm.
so I asked him, I go, "Do you need a ticket?" And he said, yeah, and I go, well, come on over into our line with us. And he
Mhm.
was a Navy veteran too, so it worked out perfectly. And he was
Oh,
so grateful and happy. So
yes. Well,
yeah,
that's
so
great.
we
Good
got to
for
pay it
you.
forward too.
Yeah. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. And the fact that he was a veteran,
yeah, it
that's
worked
just
out
great.
perfectly. Yeah.
That was perfect. Yeah. So because of your knowledge, I can see that in your future you could do come with me groups to Hawaii, and as you're growing your customer list, offer that maybe every other year, and or every year, but maybe to a different focus
Yeah.
on a different island.
Mhm.
And is that something that you're considering?
Yeah, I'm toying with that idea for next year, maybe
Mhm,
next May, if I don't do another fam trip,
mhm.
because May, for whatever reason, tends to price out the best, and the weather is kind of perfect because you
Yes, it is.
in May, so you don't get a lot of rain or anything. So
Mhm,
I'm toying with that or doing a group trip,
mhm,
um,
mhm.
and then maybe doing just one island. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
mhm.
So that way we can hit all the stops. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
work on getting some better connections with some of the excursions, like the tour operators there that do
Mhm, mhm,
tours and stuff,
mhm.
to see if we can get like group rates and things like that.
Yes. I'm not sure who Blue Sky uses, but I've done a lot of sightseeing tours with them,
Mhm.
and, since they're there,
Yeah.
in Hawaii, so anyway. Well, that's great. Well, I have really enjoyed our discussion, and,
Mhm.
we kinda ran out of time before I was able to ask you too much about the mystery trip, so, just, kinda quickly, where did the last mystery trip go?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember now. I think the last mystery trip was my parents actually,
Oh.
and to Costa Rica.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I booked them on a tour though. It
Uh-huh.
was with Caravan
Oh, I love them. Yeah.
before they stopped working with travel agents, but they absolutely loved it. They said we want to go here and you just plan the rest of it. So I do mystery trips where it can be a complete mystery, which the last complete mystery was a weekend getaway to San Antonio.
Oh.
And so they lived in California and
Mhm.
they loved history. So I got them tickets to the Alamo and some of the other stuff there.
Yes. Yeah.
And they loved it. And then like I can do any level of mystery. If you want to say I want to go to Hawaii and then you plan the rest.
Mhm.
Or we want to know like we don't want to know anything, then I do that too. So
That's just so interesting, and that's fun. That's fun for
they're
you
fun
and
to
for them.
do, but I
Oh,
don't get a whole lot of them. I originally started out that was what I was going to specialize in.
mhm.
And it morphed into Hawaii because I realized people have trust issues with a mystery trip. So they want to know where they're going, most people. So
Mm,
yeah.
yes, because packing and knowing what to take is kind of
Well,
part.
yeah, I tell them that a week ahead of time.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Okay.
they get steps, there's steps, and I give them, okay, the weather's going to be like this. This is what you should pack. Or
Mhm.
like if
Mhm.
I scheduled them, like say like at a temple or something, you need to have cover for your shoulders or whatever, something like that. I tell them all the things they need to know without giving it away.
Good idea.
And then I mail them an actual packet.
Oh,
And then
oh,
they get that, and then they can choose to open it when they receive it or wait till the day of. And then I also tell them ahead of time, you need to be at the airport at this time
oh, okay.
so they don't miss their flight. And then they can open it at the airport and then they're surprised. So
I think I would like that myself, but
yeah, it's kind of
yeah.
fun.
Well, great. Well, I have really enjoyed, mahalo to you
Yeah,
for
mahalo
speaking.
nui for having me.
And, stay in touch and let me know, how it's going with your, new focus on cruises.
Will
That's
do. I might reach out for help.
you know what? I'm here. I am here.
Awesome. Thank you
Alright.
so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.